The plans got canceled, and instead of disappointment, you felt relief. A quiet, almost guilty relief, like something heavy just lifted off your chest. And then immediately, the second guessing started. What's wrong with me? Why don't I want to be around people? Am I broken? Am I antisocial? Nothing is wrong with you. That relief has a name, it has a science, and it has been misunderstood for most of your life. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who prefer solitude. Let's dive in. Here's what's actually happening in your nervous system. Every social interaction costs energy. For most people, that cost is low. They spend a little, they recover fast. But for around 15 to 20% of people, the cost is significantly higher. Psychologist Aron's research on highly sensitive people found that some nervous systems process social and emotional information more deeply than others. Not more emotionally, more deeply. That distinction matters. Your brain isn't being dramatic, it's doing significantly more work per social interaction than the average person's brain. Think of it like a battery. Some people drain at 10% per hour in social settings. Yours drains at 30. Same room, same conversation, 3 times the cost. That's not a character flaw, that's biology. And when your battery is already at 5%, of course canceled plans feel like oxygen. But here's what nobody told you growing up. We live in a culture that treats solitude like a symptom. If you prefer your own company, something must be broken underneath. Some wound, some deficit, some damage that drove you inward. So you learned to perform. You went to the parties you didn't want to attend. You answered the phone when you had no bandwidth left. You filled every silence before anyone could notice you preferred it. And someone said it, "You're so strong." And you know what that actually meant? Keep going, keep performing. You can handle more. But you weren't strong. You were surviving. And surviving isn't the same as thriving. Over years of that performance, you built a low-level exhaustion. You blamed on work, on stress, on being busy. You never once asked the real question: what if I've just been living slightly outside myself for a very long time? Now, here's the part that changes everything. Because not all solitude preference looks the same. There are 2 types. Type 1, chosen solitude. This person genuinely recharges alone. They come back from a quiet weekend more regulated, more present, more themselves. Solitude feels like fullness to them, not escape. They want connection, they just need to recover first. Type 2, protective solitude. This person retreats because the world has felt consistently unsafe, exhausting, unpredictable. Solitude started as recovery, but quietly became avoidance. They come back from a quiet weekend feeling flatter, more disconnected, not less. Deep down, they want to be seen. They want to be celebrated. They want connection. But they're so terrified of disappointment that they shut it down before anyone gets the chance to let them down. It's not a preference, it's protection. Both make complete sense. Both are valid, but only you know which one you're actually living. Here's how to tell them apart. Recharging feels like restoration. Retreating feels like relief that slowly turns into numbness. Pay attention to how you feel coming out, not just going in. For people genuinely wired for solitude, here's what the science actually shows. Psychologist Reed Larson found that voluntary solitude was linked to improved mood and higher self-reflection when people returned to social settings. Because solitude isn't empty. It's where your values live, where your intuitions get sorted, where the emotions you were too busy to feel during the week finally get processed. People who are genuinely comfortable alone tend to know what they think before the room influences them. They connect more deeply when they do show up because they haven't depleted themselves performing connection they didn't have energy for. So, if you're someone who prefers solitude, here's what I want you to hear. You're not antisocial. You're managing a nervous system that costs more to run socially. You're not broken. You're wired differently. And different is not deficient. You're not missing out. You're choosing inward. And inward is the most honest version of you lives. You don't owe anyone an explanation for needing to be alone. You don't need to apologize for canceled plans that gave you back your breath. You don't need to perform extroversion to prove you're okay. The only mistake, the one that actually costs you, is spending so long defending this preference, hiding it, apologizing for it, that you never actually use it. In a world engineered to make stillness feel unbearable, choosing to be alone with your own thoughts is one of the most honest things you can do. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's just telling you what it needs, and it's time you started listening. Are you type 1 or type 2? Drop it in the comments below. And if solitude has always felt more like home than antisocial, you're seen, you're understood, and you are not alone in preferring to be.